Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, excuse me for being late. Vinny Vegas. Yeah, this is your show tonight, right now. It's popping off, unless I put the wrong date. I don't know. Maybe I did, because I literally just walked in the door. You know what I'm saying? But salute to Knicks Nation. Salute to the New York Knicks, ladies and gentlemen. 8 in a row, 14-2 in January, the best since 1994. 30 years. You know what I'm saying? 30 years. The best since 1994. You know what I mean? So it's definitely beautiful to see. You know what I mean? The Knicks win the way that they are winning. And my man Josh just said I did put the wrong date. So I apologize for that. You know, sometimes you put the dates in and you assume that it's choosing today's date. Then it chooses another date. I don't know. But hopefully everybody gets the notification that I'm live and we get on and popping. You know what I mean?
That means I got to share the link.
Yeah. You know, it should have, hopefully it went out to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully. But anyway, your thoughts, Tony? Your thoughts on tonight's game?
The Knicks ate tonight. Pun intended.
Yeah.
You know, pun intended. But yeah, man, definitely a great game. You notice the focus shifted on Brunson.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they was just really just trying to get the ball out his hands. DiVincenzo stepped up, had a hell of a game for sure. Had the scare with Grimes. You know what I mean? I text Shutter. I'm like, yo, the Knicks is dropping like flies, bro.
Yeah.
Thankfully, he came back.
Had a scare with Brunson too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
You know, had a scare with Brunson too. That's
a fact. But yeah, man, we on a roll, and I think we're gonna continue this run. You know what I mean?
Man.
We're gonna continue this run.
This was the first game of a 6-game homestand. That is right. 6-game homestand.
Not for nothing, son. We've been at home on the road this whole time, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. For real. There's no doubt about that, man. You know, a lot of good things again to take from tonight's basketball game. You know, the beginning of the game was a little bit shaky. I think Utah went up 9 or something like that early in the game, but the Knicks roared right back. Took the lead. You know, at some point in the second quarter, the Knicks were up 5 and Brunson had like 2 points or something like that. Because DiVincenzo was on fire. The entire game. DiVincenzo was on fire, just letting it go from 3. Precious is showing us a lot. You know what I'm saying? Finally, you know, the Knicks, late third, early fourth quarter, able to, you know, really take over the game. You know what I mean? And just, you know, flex their muscle, play the stellar defense that they've been playing. Only allowed the Jazz 103 points tonight. You know what I mean? The Knicks, at least in January, have been the best team in the league.
And it's not even close. It's, you know what I mean? Because if you look at the areas where we're number one, there's a few of them. You know what I mean? Quite a few of them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that we just winning games. We dominate in games. Not for nothing.
Winning by double digits. Winning, I mean, what we went by? 15 tonight? I think we got it up to at least a 21-point lead, maybe. Somewhere around there, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we are dominating games, and it's our defense. I seen something somewhere. The Knicks had a 25-point lead, as a matter of fact. I seen something somewhere, a tweet or a post or something, where someone said, all these teams are out here dropping 150 points per game, but then you go into Madison Square Garden and the Knicks hit you with bats. You know what I'm saying? And it's no doubt about it. You know what I mean? You know, the Knicks defense is just suffocating And right now, with the way they have to play without Julius Randle, playing kind of small, you know what I mean? Like, you got guys out there that are flying around the floor, and it's like they all understand we got to step up in certain ways. And one of those ways is to make sure that they're playing this, just aggressive, relentless style of defense that make teams like wilt. It's like that's what they're doing right now. You know what I'm saying? Playing that style of defense that make teams just wilt and
Sim,
not be able to function.
If you really look at it, I mean, during this run, I feel like we made 3 or 4 teams quit. Straight quit. By the fourth quarter, they quit. You know what I mean? Like, no effort. And I feel like this team is wearing teams down throughout the course of the game because the defense is nonstop. But then they playing bully ball offensively too with Josh Hart, Brunson, you know what I mean, Hartenstein. So they making you feel it on both sides. On both sides of the floor. By the end of the game, you so tired from getting beat up and bruised defensively and offensively. It's like, yo, this is great, man.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Knicks' third All-Star on this team, at least for the last 2 games. DiVincenzo. Right? He's been like the Knicks' third All-Star the last 2 games, man. I mean, the last 2 games, 30.5 points per game, shooting 47.7%, shooting 47.7% from the field and 46.7% from the 3-point line. You know what I'm saying? He's just playing tremendous basketball. 4.5 assists per game, 5.5 rebounds. It's only 2 games. So I'm joking about the All-Star thing. So Josh, don't start bugging out saying, oh my gosh, here go Knicks fans. I'm joking. I know Josh, probably had the text. He probably had the message queued up. But he's playing really, really good basketball, DiVincenzo. Shooting the ball really, really well. You know what I mean? What's your thoughts, man? Dante.
It's like you say
oh
Candy
my God.
Man.
This
you
guy,
say Candy Man 3 times.
You know what I'm saying? This guy got a beard growing. Look at him. This man got a beard growing, ladies and gentlemen. What are we doing here? But yeah, DiVincenzo. What's your thoughts, man?
He's on fire, and he's just getting better, man. A couple attempted murders, you know what I mean? He tried to catch bodies out there.
He tried to catch one a day. Tried to catch one.
He gonna get a charge eventually. You know what I mean? He gonna catch a body eventually. You know what I mean? Because we've seen him. I mean, this one tonight was crazy. You know what I mean? Took off. Tried to go for the 2-hander. Oh man, white man can jump. What can I say?
No doubt about that, man. DiVincenzo, I mean, 30.5 points per game since Julius Randle's been out. Let's put it like that, right? The last 2 games, making up for some of that scoring that the Knicks miss from Julius Randle. We'll see if he can continue to score at this clip. You know what I mean? If he can, or he's not going to average 30 a game, but if he can, but I'm pretty sure he'll continue to pick up his scoring. And it's going to be all the more better when Julius Randle gets back. You know what I'm saying? Because, his confidence is going to be high and the team's going to be able to see what he can do. I think they knew, but, just know better what he can do offensively. You know what I mean? Let's get to this guy. I don't know who this guy is down here. He got the thing going, looking a little bit like Tom Thibodeau with the new beard and all of that. Josh, what's up, man?
Salute to you, Sam. Salute to Tony. Salute to the MBK family. Salute to the cat. Yes, I am growing a beard. I'm officially a veteran, so that's what veterans do, grow beards, because we can't do it in the service. So
okay, yes. All right, makes sense.
Yes, I do have a beard, but listen, I'm just very, very happy with this team right now. I didn't have as much concern as you guys did when Julius Randle first went down. My thought process is, if we're not talking anything season-ending for Julius Randle, I think this team will be fine during the regular season without him because of the way they play. You're playing different teams every night. The style of play that the Knicks, play with that, hustle and being all over the floor. I just think that is a recipe for success during the regular season, no matter who they have on the floor, whether they have Julius or not. So as long as, they're still playing this type of basketball during the regular season, I'm not concerned. Now, knock on wood, God forbid, Julius Randle, is down for a significant period of time, might miss some playoff time, then I think that's cause for concern. But the way this team is playing, I'm not really worried about it, right? And on top of that, you guys wanted to pop champagne during the Denver game. I think if this team is worth popping champagne for, they'll be fine during the regular season without Julius Randle. And they're showing us that right now. And this is even without LJ Anunoby. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So this team is just playing really good basketball right now. And I'm excited for where this team can go. And hopefully we get some good news about Julius Randle coming up in the next couple of days.
Yeah, I hope we do. You know what I mean? And, hopefully it's just, 3 to 4 weeks. You know what I mean? Three to 4 weeks that Julius Randle is out and that this is a silver lining. I mean, I still have concerns. We played, Charlotte and Utah. There's going to be much better teams, and we got to prove that we can win. If they're going to play this style of basketball, they got to prove that they can win playing this style of basketball against some, tougher competition.
We got two tests coming up. We got two bigger tests coming up.
I just think during the regular season, the Knicks will be fine. This is what the Knicks do. This is who Tom Thibodeau. This is the style of play that Tom Thibodeau coached teams employ, and they are very successful during the regular season playing this style of basketball. We've seen a lot of other star players be out for quote unquote a significant period of time, 4 or 6 weeks, and their teams still be fine because the team, that camaraderie that the Knicks sold us on at the beginning of the season, is coming out, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now. Right. I think worst case scenario for me, worst case scenario, I'll envision, like, let's say that Randle's gone for 4, let's say 6 weeks, right? I think the Knicks can go 500 basketball during that time, and if they do that, they're going to maintain a 12 game.
Yeah, I said earlier. We've been said that.
We all agreed
to
that.
We
all felt that way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like when you say the concern, I think our concern was we need him in the playoffs. We need Randle in the playoffs. It wasn't about the regular season. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I want him back before the playoffs because I don't want him trying to, you know what I mean, find his way, find his rhythm in the playoffs. You know what 100%. I mean? Because I expect a grace period, or I shouldn't say grace period because he won't get that. You know what I mean? But I expect a period where he needs to adjust and get reacclimated and trust his shoulder and all that. So yeah. I don't want him doing that in the playoffs. I'd rather him back and getting through those lumps early.
Yeah. Like we said a couple of days ago, we feel this team is probably currently constructed without Randle. When I say currently constructed, it's probably like a just above 500 team. You know what I'm saying? And that's good. That's okay. You know what I'm saying? But if we're talking about them being, third seed and stuff like that, or continuing to, creep up. Right now, they're still winning basketball games, and I'm just hoping that they continue to win, even against these, tougher competition. Because one thing, when they start to go out against some tougher teams, they haven't played against the Knicks like this. You know what I'm saying? So, there's a little bit of an adjustment there for those teams, too. You know what I mean? So, all in all, just from what I see, though, there's going to be a big, giant silver lining, and I think the Knicks are going to get better. They're going to get better as they, when they add Randle back, they're going to be an even better team. You know what I'm saying? He comes back, he's healthy. I'm just hoping that he's still, when Randle comes back, he's able to bang. You know what I'm saying? Bang down low, do what he's been doing throughout this season, without being afraid, to bump that shoulder. We'll see how severe it is. That's one thing I am concerned about with his return.
And that's why what Tony said is important. Though I said I'm not concerned. If we're talking anything less than him missing the entirety of the regular season, I'm not concerned. And Sim, I agree. I think this team without him can be just above 500, maybe a couple games less than 500 in the time that he's out. But if that's the case, like realistically, if that's the case, right now they're 12, 13 games over 500 right now?
Yeah.
You basically maintain that same cushion as far as games over 500, worst case scenario based on our predictions, right? So I think this team will be fine. Ebbs and flows of the regular season, stuff happens. But this Knicks team is definitely built to survive during the regular season without someone like Julius Randle. Come playoff time, I think that's when it really, that's when we really need to be concerned. But and you guys don't want me to move ahead, so I won't. But I think as of right now, this team is all right.
Yeah, because you got to get to the playoffs. As we see, it's a lot of work to get to the playoffs and to get there healthy. You know what I'm saying? You're seeing Quentin Grimes, bang up his knee a little bit, knee and ankle a little bit. Jalen Brunson getting around. I heard Clyde was like, get him out, man. Get Jalen Brunson out the game, man. You know what I'm saying?
Stayed in way too long for my liking. He should have been out that game a couple minutes before they actually took him out. I mean, 6 minutes is one thing because that's when Julius Randle got hurt in that game against Miami. But having him there and I guess 15-point lead, anything can happen. But everybody knew that game was over. Utah gave up. So I mean, I'm just a little bit worried about Tibbs in that regard. But glad we made it out okay.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna front. That's my coach's decision right there. Not to spoil it, but
right. Yeah, but and what Kevin is saying, his defense. Dante DiVincenzo is playing, great defense, and I think all of them because they realize, okay, Randle's out. We got to step up in different ways, and they're just obviously the defense is much faster too without Randle in the game. They're smaller and faster. They got Precious is a little bit faster defensively than Randle is. Hart, of course, flies all over the place. DiVincenzo, you got Brunson out there. You got Isaiah Hartenstein, and when OG comes back, we'll still see, who goes to the bench. But the defense should get better, or at least it's definitely going to maintain. But the defense is faster; they can fly around a little bit more. Playing this style. So yeah. Go ahead.
Precious out here showing you a little bit more every game.
Every game,
you know what I mean?
Yep.
Every game showing you a little bit more, something different too. Every time, if he could put it all together, we're gonna have another little problem in our second unit because I'm seeing him hit the three a little bit. The percentage is not great, but the fact that he could hit the three, you know what I mean?
That he's not on the floor a little bit. Yeah, he's not reluctant to shoot it, and maybe people will figure, we at least gotta respect it. You know what I mean? He's showing. He's showing a little bit every game. Every time he steps out there on the floor, he's showing a little bit of his offensive repertoire.
Oh my bad. The defensive versatility is like a light OG. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's almost like give OG some breaks during a stretch once we're whole. You know what I mean? Like he could fill that kind of role and give OG a break. He don't got to play 38 minutes. And we know we're gonna get it from Tibbs, but just to have that option out there, he's looking good.
18 points from Precious tonight, 5 rebounds, 8 for 13 from the field. Josh Hart gave you a triple-double, 10 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds tonight. He called it before the game, said, I want to get a triple-double. Got a triple-double. Isaiah Hartenstein, 14 points, 12 rebounds, 1 block for Hart. Brunson had 29 points, 9 assists. DiVincenzo, 33 points tonight. And Quentin Grimes had 12 points, played 20 minutes. All right, Jericho Sims had 2 points. But it was a really, really, really nice 2 points. Went off the dribble, got himself, a nice dunk out there. So, yeah, the Knicks, ladies and gentlemen, get their 8th win in a row. 14-2 in the month of January, and they're getting contributions from all over the floor. Guys stepping up all over the place. You know what I mean? And of course, OG is, he was the key to the trade, but Precious is showing like, I'm not just a throw-in. You know what I'm saying? Don't call me a throw-in. I'm worth something. You know what I mean? And He's definitely proven it, man.
And he living his dream. You know what I mean? Like on the low. You know what I mean? Like growing up in the Bronx. I know, you know what I mean? I know he always dreamed about playing for the Knicks. So like he's low key trying to make the best of his opportunity of you know what I mean, his dream situation. Cause he, you know what I mean? I'm sure he wants to be here long term.
I think for the Knicks and Tom Thibodeau, when it comes to defense, because a lot of time people talk about length, right? And the Knicks getting taller. We have guys who play above their size, right? And I think that's the key for this particular team. Just because we don't match up as far as having guys that are 6'10" all over the floor, like let's say of Boston. Well, particularly in their front court, because in their back court, it's not the case. But just because we don't match up with those teams in that regard, we have guys who play like they're 6'10", like OG Anunoby. He plays that way. Precious Achiuwa plays that way. Right, Toronto had, they had those guys 6'10" or whatever out there on the floor, and OG and Precious were the smallest guys relatively to who they had, and they were playing tall, right? So I think we're fine as far as the front court is concerned. I never was really concerned about the 5 position and getting those types of players because we have guys who play above their size, and I think we'll be fine in that regard in the front court, right? Back court maybe a little bit different story, but I think in the front court we'll be fine.
I think the concern was always warranted.
Yeah.
But I will say our performances, against Jokic, against Embiid, like the top of the top tier of the bigs, like that has definitely been encouraging to me and changed my stance or my sense of urgency. You know what I mean? But at the same time, we was the concern was really when Hartenstein, you know what I mean? Mitch was already gone and we settled in on that. Like hopefully he gets back. But when Hartenstein went down, I mean that's a different story. You know what I mean? Right. That changes everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As long as Hartenstein is healthy, I think we could rock out with Tim, Sims, Precious. You know what I mean? We lost the option of Randle playing a small ball. That would have been an option. You know what I mean? So I think the concern is still warranted. But I agree with you. Like from Josh Hart plays up. You know what I mean? So Grimes plays up. So it's all across the board. Literally, we are small and everybody guards up.
Come playoff time, I would be concerned. But during the regular season, like I said, it's ebbs and flows. The way this team plays and having those guys that are versatile like that, I think they'll be okay during the regular season. You know what I mean? Based on what they've done so far and what they've shown us right now, I think we'll be fine during the regular season. Playoff time, I think that's when, for me, it becomes more of a concern. But right now, I have no worries.
Yeah, well, I still have some worries. We're winning, but I still have some worries, about.
And we're winning with defense, Sam. Like, talking about fives having size or not, or lack thereof, we're winning with defense.
I mean, I was never always just concerned about the size and the length. You know what I'm saying? Because, just understanding that, you can guard up. And a lot of times when you have smaller guys like a Josh Hart, they can get up underneath the guys that are a little bit longer and prevent them from getting to their spots. You know what I'm saying? When you have guys that can do that. Where my concern came in, like Tony said, is when Isaiah Hartenstein went down. You know what I'm saying? And then, the size from that aspect is where I really started to get concerned. I'm glad that he's back. You know what I mean? So that, alleviates a little bit of the concern from that size standpoint. But, I still, I want the Knicks to, I don't want the Knicks to just, obviously we can't do nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? If Julius Randle was out. And I know Greg believes that the Knicks are going to be better without Julius Randle. I don't. Especially in the playoffs, they won't be better without Julius Randle.
In the playoffs, the Knicks are not going to be better without Julius Randle. There's no...
Right, that's not even going to be close. You know what I'm saying? But, I want the Knicks to get the best seeding possible. You know what I mean? And just going 500 is going to, cool. You might remain 13 games above 500 or whatever it is, but some of these teams are going to go 15 and 16 and 17 games above 500. But there's nothing you can do about it. All we can do is, figure out how to win with what we have right now. And so far, this team has always figured it out. No matter what happens, every time, it seems like they're in a tight spot, they figure it out. Gotta love that about them. You know what I'm saying? You gotta love that about them. They figure it out. Figure out a way to be successful. You know what I mean? And that just, that builds confidence in themselves, builds confidence in everybody, I think. That they're going to be able to do it.
Sam, I do also want to talk about like the first unit, second unit thing. For me, I just never looked at the Knicks. Me and Tony were talking about this. That's why he had that devilish grin on his face. But I just don't judge the Knicks by a first unit, second unit type of thing. Obviously, you have your starters out there, but Tom Thibodeau is playing for the most part a 9-man rotation. So there's always going to be a starter on the floor, no matter what. So it's not a true second unit, right? And I think what people are really concerned about is how that unit is going to function without Brunson on the floor, basically, right? So you're going to have Deuce, and then who else is going to be out there as a starter to go on with that unit? Brunson, we know, can play with that unit, but we want to limit his minutes a little bit. We want to take the pressure off of him. Randle had some stints out there. I don't think that unit was as successful, but right before OG missed these games, Tibbs used OG out there on the floor with the second unit, or quote unquote second unit, so to speak. And that unit has been largely very successful, right? And I think this is opportunity for OG Anunoby with Randle being out. It's an opportunity for him to expand his offensive game a little bit more. Yeah. And let's not forget, he's playing for a contract. He's playing for a contract. He's trying to get paid, right? So I'm very, very optimistic about OG. I think this is an opportunity for him to expand his game. I'm not saying he's going to be just like Julius Randle, but as far as being a guy who can initiate a little bit, can create off the dribble, I think this is an opportunity for him, for sure. More than DiVincenzo, in my opinion.
Yeah. The whole second unit thing, me and Tony talked about it too. I think it depends on what you consider a second unit. Do you consider the second unit just the bench or the unit? Because a unit is just a group of people. It doesn't have to be the bench. It doesn't have to be the starters, right? You have a unit of people. So the unit that gets the second most minutes, and I think that unit includes OG. So I think you can consider that like your second unit. When you get to the top of the second quarter, there's a unit. Normally, when Julius Randle was here, there was a unit, with Deuce and Quentin Grimes and Josh Hart and OG Anunoby and Precious, right? I consider that to be the second unit.
But that unit doesn't get the second most minutes, though. Like, I think that the unit that gets the second most, it doesn't. That unit together, whoever those four guys, Precious, Hart, Grimes, and McBride, or whatever starter, that unit does not get the second most minutes. In fact, they get the lowest amount of minutes as far as, you take out the scrap players towards the, end of blowout games. That unit doesn't get the second most minutes. The unit that gets the second most minute is the unit when, OG comes out and they put Hart in to play with Brunson and Randle. So,
I don't know. I have to go on Basketball Reference and look at that unit. But, from the top of the second quarter till about 4 to 5 minutes, till top of the second quarter, 12 minutes till about 8 minutes, that unit plays.
With a starter.
But that,
again,
OG is part of that unit.
I hear what he's saying.
OG is part of that unit.
As a group of five. So if you look at the unit as a group of five, it don't matter if there's 2 starters, 3 starters in there. It's a unit. It's a group.
But that's multiple. Those are multiple different units. Whether you have 1 starter or 2 starters, those are different units. So is there more than one second unit?
My point.
We're saying
there's like 15 units per game. Let's say that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the way you would devise it is 1 by minutes distribution. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So how many minutes is this group of 5 on the floor together?
Okay.
And so the second and the second unit would be that starts the third quarter, that starts the second quarter and starts the fourth quarter.
So outside the four bench guys that I mentioned,
are defined just like the starters are.
Okay, so that particular unit that you're talking about, the one that comes in, to play end of whatever quarter, deep into the next quarter. You got the 4 guys who are not starters, and then who is the starter that goes with them? What specific unit are y'all talking about when y'all say second unit? Is it Brunson on the floor with McBride?
It's OG.
It used to be RJ.
Oh, OG. Okay.
It used to be RJ. Now it's OG.
Got it. I understand. We're on the same page now. I'm with you.
Right. That unit right there. And that unit, we'll see well, we were going to see how that unit grows together, but now it's obviously jumbled, because of all the injuries that the Knicks are currently going through. Hopefully we don't suffer any more injuries. You know what I mean? We don't need any more injuries.
Well, that unit you mentioned, we don't lose that. Once OG comes back, we wouldn't lose that unit. That unit will still be intact. You know what I mean? I think OG can still play the 4 in that particular unit, and you will still have that, right? So that's
right.
Another reason
and we'll see if they still play that unit, right? Yeah. We'll see how they still play that unit. I think Tom Thibodeau will probably still play that unit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just going to be extra minutes for a couple of guys, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, he's comfortable. As a matter of fact, that's one of the reasons why we thought, when in talking about who's going to start, Precious or Josh Hart, we thought maybe Josh Hart would start with OG at the 4 because Tom Thibodeau is kind of used, those two guys have played, good amount of time together in
right.
In that second unit. But I guess Precious has been up, but Precious has been at the 5 in that unit. You know
exactly.
what I'm saying? So I'm still expecting when OG comes back that it's going to be Josh Hart out there. Tom Thibodeau is just more familiar and comfortable with Josh Hart right now, but I'm sure he's building that trust with Precious. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, all of those units are playing great defense, ladies and gentlemen, and they held the Utah Jazz to 103 points. All right, 22 points from Colin Sexton tonight led the Utah Jazz. Fontecchio had 14 points, 5 rebounds. John Collins had 11 points, 11 rebounds. Lauri Markkanen, 14 points, 5 rebounds. Keontae George had 15 points off the bench. Jordan Clarkson had 11 points off the bench. But the New York Knicks, and the Utah Jazz are normally a pretty high-scoring team. The Knicks held them to 103 points.
Did we win the battle of the boards?
42-40.
All right.
We won the battle of the boards.
With them 7-footers. Credit to what Josh just said. You know what I mean?
42-40. The Knicks have been, if they can continue to keep, I don't know how they'll keep it. No, actually, I'm sorry, 45-43. The Knicks won the boards. Still won by 2, 45-43. They won the boards by 2. You know what I mean? We got to keep having those guards come back and help rebound the ball, which we have. Dante DiVincenzo could jump. Josh Hart is a good rebounder. When we play some other strong rebounding teams. Well, this was a strong rebounding team. I think they came in number 2 in the league in rebounding or something like that.
Yeah. That's why I asked.
Yep, number 2 in the league in rebounding. So, the Knicks are finding ways to get the job done, ladies and gentlemen. They're finding ways to get the job done. Let me get you a phone call real quick. Caller, you're live. Name me where you're from, please, and thank you for your patience. Appreciate it.
Sure. Is that me?
Yes, sir. That's you.
And this symposium?
Go one. What's going on with you, man? How you feeling?
Oh, I'm doing okay. I'm calling. This is Joe Long. I haven't tapped into the chat room yet, but I have been out here filling my pipe up and taking a hit to get ready to talk.
All right.
Hey, I'm 64 years old. I need it.
Do your thing, bro. Do your thing. Get busy. That's what we talking about.
I got some achy bones. Too many sports when I was a kid is the reason too.
Hey,
But anyway, so what I'm calling about, I was gonna say something, but then when you started talking about the substituting, what I see him doing is using Hart as the 6th man. Typically, he's the first one off the bench, right? And I think that's what you were saying, Sim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. But then, when you start to see, like when Brunson sits, typically that's when he'll go with both guards sitting. Like he'll play the 2 guards, the second team guards, McBride and Grimes together. And then they start substituting out, to give Harden sign a break and stuff like that. But they've been using Achiuwa and Sims. So they've got such a great chemistry. Like, nobody hurts the team when they come in, you know?
Right.
They're all good and playing together like the Knicks of 68 and 69 when they won it. Or was it 69-70? I remember
69-70.
that year,
Yeah.
the year they had Dick Barnett, and then and they didn't win it the next year, but the year after that, they won again with Earl to Pearl. And, like, I haven't seen anyone come to the Knicks since Earl to Pearl did as we got with Jalen Brunson. I mean, he has been that spark that is just, you know, the Knicks won it with him. But I'm not saying that. The Knicks aren't here yet. What I was going to say is, you know, when you're looking at, because all the pieces aren't there yet. I think we all have agreed to that in the chat and talking here, but they're not there yet. And what is it? Donovan Mitchell they're talking about, and DeRozan and Brogdon, is it? And now they're talking about
Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah. And now they're talking about Bridges coming here in a blockbuster trade. I don't know if you guys heard it, but they're saying something to the effect that they were going to put together, and this is from a pretty reputable place. I forget the name of it, but they said they're talking about moving Sims, which I don't want. And I love Sims, and I want him to stay forever. Like, right now, he's not ready. He needs 15 pounds, you know, because when you go against a guy like Embiid, he's just going to dominate him. So no matter how graceful and how floating and how athletic he is, pure dominance of a guy in the middle, if you were stuck to guard him, he's going to lose that, you know, as of today. I'm not saying he won't get better and stronger and be able to bang a little bit better, but he's still not there yet.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so if you talk about those guys in a trade, Bridges, Mitchell, Donovan Mitchell, Brogdon, and DeRozan, you know, all these guys, what I would do is I would look at what are their statistics when they play the Celtics, you know? Let's see who matches up really good with the Celtics so that we can get that one guy that we're still needing in the front five, you know, and then in the back five, I would still want that point guard that's like, you know, really good defense, good assists, good athleticism, good dribbler, you know. So those are the kind of things I would take a look at is what are the statistics of these guys that if we bring them in, do they kill the Celtics? Because we need a Celtic killer.
Yeah, our Celtic killer doesn't get any burn. That's Evan
Doesn't
Fournier.
get any what?
Our Celtic killer doesn't play. That's Evan Fournier. He normally goes crazy against the Celtics, but, you know.
Oh, my God. Well,
he
that's
doesn't
not
play.
my answer.
Nah,
Yeah.
I dig what you're saying. I know what you're saying. You know, the thing is with the Knicks playing
but don't
so
you think
well.
that would be the best way to approach a trade is to take a look at what these guys do against the Celtics. That's who they're going to be playing at the end.
No.
I mean, the only thing I would say to that is you don't want to just add anybody just because they play good against the Celtics. You know, it's got to be someone that can work with your group.
I'm not saying that.
You know?
I'm saying matches up because they're just so athletic. To me,
Right.
If we get a guy that can really match up athletically, you know, which of those guys play well against them, that's not going to hurt. You know, like that's the guy I would look closely at in making a trade. But, you know, and that part of that trade I was telling you about, they said also 4 first-round picks.
Yeah, for
wait a minute.
for Bridges, right?
5.
It is.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
5 first rounds. Oh God.
You know, I mean the Knicks do that. They're going all in. You know, if the Knicks did that, they're assuming that adding Mikal Bridges puts them over the top to win a championship if they throw it all in there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't know enough. I don't know how Bridges, you know, would fit in chemistry-wise and with Randle and, you know, like when he comes back, like how are they going to share? But
well, I mean, I'll say this.
I just want a guy that.
I'll say this. I don't know if he's the guy that you go all in with, but he's a guy. His style of play.
Well, is he a guy that you think the Knicks would win this year if they got him, and assuming they get a pretty good backup point guard?
Right. I mean, would they win the championship with him? I mean, I don't. It's hard to say. I don't know. All I can say is he would fit in. He's similar to OG. You know what I'm saying? With the way, with the style of play, maybe he can create a little bit more than OG can. So I think he would fit in because of his style of play. I don't know if he's the guy you go all in for, and think he takes you over the top. But as far as style of play, I think he would fit with style of play. And
then what is your starting five if you get him and you have OG and you have Randle and you have Hartenstein? Like, what's your starting five if you have him?
I mean, if you make a trade for that guy, you're probably if you're trading all those draft picks and whatever else you got to trade, you're starting them. So you're talking Brunson and Bridges and OG and then Randle. Assuming Randle's back in Hartenstein.
Yeah. That's not bad. I mean, that's the way they're playing now. I mean, this bench is just totally impressing me. Yeah, they're playing so hard, and they all don't lose a step if they come in the starting five people, or if the starting five stay in with their subs on a rest kind of thing. They all fit. They make it work.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm really surprised. It's been such a long time for me seeing this.
Yeah,
because even when they had Ewing and Oakley and Anthony Mason and all that, they were good, but you didn't feel. I didn't feel as good as I'm feeling about seeing this team play.
Yeah, they weren't as good offensively.
Too, they've had a pretty long homestand during this winning streak too, haven't they?
No, they've had a nice set of games at home, and right now they just began a 6-game home
okay,
streak.
That's what I'm talking about. So that's still to come. That's still even better while they're hurt.
Yeah. But those teams back in the day with Ewing and Mason and all those guys, their offense wasn't the same that the Knicks have now.
No.
You know what I'm saying? The Knicks have the defense and offense right now. Back then,
this is closer to the Sprewell Houston Knicks.
Yeah, because back.
But I don't see a guy that was on that team that it's like Brunson that I'm the biggest point of the game. If that ball's in his hands, I'm feeling better.
Right. No, we didn't really have that guy. Patrick Ewing was a guy that could hit some big shots for us, but somebody had to get him the ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somebody had to get him the ball.
They tried to find people. They had Marbury for a while, remember?
Yeah, but he wasn't there with Ewing. When Ewing was there, we're talking about.
I thought he was in that.
No, he came after.
They drafted him.
He came after. They traded for him. Isaiah Thomas traded for him.
And who else was the one?
They had Charlie Ward with Patrick Ewing.
He didn't really distribute the ball.
Yeah, they had Charlie Ward with Patrick Ewing.
Yeah, right.
They had.
And he was a disappointment. He should have played football.
They had my guy from Dallas.
Derek Harper.
Derek Harper. Yeah, Derek Harper.
Derek Harper. I loved him.
Yeah, he was tough.
Good.
He was tough. Greg Anthony was around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had another guy I'm thinking of too. I think he went to Utah or something, but he was a pretty good guard too. But anyway.
But anyway, hey, my man.
Current team is where it's at.
I'm gonna let you get back and enjoy yourself for the night.
Okay.
All right. You know what I'm saying?
Good talking to you guys. I got to tell you guys, this is like, let me just say, this is like the most intelligent. Like Tony's knows his shit, you know your shit, and you guys are perfect for moderating because then you keep it decent too. Like the moderators in there keep a nice mellow tone to it. Like you can get crazy and it goes right back to being. I think that's a New York thing. It's just cool people.
We appreciate that, man. Thank you. We appreciate that. Well,
I enjoy it.
Yes,
go ahead. We're gonna let you go ahead and touch the sky, and
all right.
We get
I'm
Joe
Long in there. I'll come in there shortly.
All right. Appreciate it.
See ya.
Peace.
And I'm not going to get big-headed from that comment. I don't even remember what he said.
I believe a trade for Mikal Bridges at this point, considering that proposed trade, that would be trading for somebody just to trade for him, in my opinion. I don't think we have a need at which Mikal Bridges would fit the best on this particular team. You know what I mean? If we didn't have OG Anunoby, yes. I would be for it. Same with with if we didn't have Randle, I'll be for Kyle Kuzma. But at this point right now, there's no reason for the Knicks to change their starting lineup at all. This starting lineup is firing at all cylinders. They play well. They are very, very productive on the floor with one another. I am not in the business right now of the Knicks doing anything to this starting lineup. Now, as far as having a guy come off the bench to be a ball handler, I think that's a little bit different. I still want the Knicks to go out and get a ball handler, whether it be a point guard, combo guard, whatever it is. But as far as the starting lineup, there's no reason for them to change it right now.
Yeah, I'm with
I mean,
I'm
if
with
they
it.
believe it makes them better, then that you know what I mean, I would preference it by that, and I wouldn't be mad. I understand what you're saying though. I like.
Yeah. I mean, I do. I like the way they look. You know what I mean? And you know, if as a GM, if I don't look at this guy and say, this guy is so perfect, I got to make the move, then I'm letting it rock, I think, and looking at that bench ball handler. You know what I'm saying? Because I do think that they play so well together. You know what I mean? You know, you see the chemistry between all 5 guys on the floor. You know, so yeah, I'd like to see it rock out a little bit. If you can add to the bench, and you still got your chips to make a major move if you need to make a major move, I think that's a really good scenario.
Right. Another thing for Mikal Bridges, the Knicks wouldn't be just going all in for this year. They'll be going all in for the next couple, two to three seasons. And then on top of that, they will be unable to really do anything because you can't aggregate salary as far as the second apron is concerned. So that's going to be a concern.
If they did that move, that would be saying this is our team.
Yep.
Like this is our, you know what I mean? This is our championship contending team.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? And so there's no debating. That's not what we're saying. Like it's the right thing. I'm saying if that's what they believe, I'm rocking with them. That's my stance because I feel like they've been making great decisions this whole time, and it's really coming into fruition.
Well, the one thing they haven't done, Tony, the one thing that they have not done is sacrifice flexibility, right? And I think if they were to do a move like that, they sacrifice their flexibility when they necessarily don't have to.
But
right?
again,
I hear what you're saying. If they feel that way, right, then, that's what they're going to do. But I just feel like, why would they? I don't understand. Why would they feel that way about that particular player, you know what I mean, for his particular role at this very time? It just doesn't make any sense to me right now.
I think what Tony is saying. I think what Tony is saying is, if they did it, he's gonna trust the move that they made because of what they've been doing and how they've been making moves. I think he's saying that they went all in because if you go get Mikal Bridges, you're going all in and you're saying this squad is what we believe is going to take us to the championship. And he's saying he's going to trust the front office on the move.
I wouldn't. I'm gonna be honest. I wouldn't. I think Tony's coming at it from the super fan perspective. They've been right all along, but that will be a deviation from what they've done this entire time. That's something totally different. I just don't think the timing is right either.
But Josh, all of us think at some point they're gonna do something totally different.
Right. But I'm saying, but they don't have to do it right now.
I'm not advocating the move. Yeah. I'm saying that, like, if that's what they do, that's what they're telling us. There is no next move after that. Like this is that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that goes without saying, Tony. I'm talking about the timing. Like right now, at this very moment, trading for Mikal Bridges wouldn't make any sense right now. At this very moment, it wouldn't make any sense, in my opinion.
Right.
I agree with that too.
Right. In your opinion, I think what Tony is saying is if they did do it, he's going to trust them because he's going to trust their decision because they've proven to be successful. You know what I'm saying? They've done some good stuff. Close this guy's mouth for just a second while I read, and I'm just saying that because it's covering your mouth, Josh. Lloyd Barker said, "What's good, Sim? What's good, NBK fam? I want to touch on the turning point of the game after Sexton attempted to bump or talk trash to Brunson. The Knicks squad wasn't having it. They gave Sexton the business. Let's go, New York Knicks." This team is together, and thank you for the super chat, by the way. I definitely appreciate you. This team is together. They rock together. They ride together. You know what I'm saying? That it shows you the tightness of this basketball team. You know what I mean?
Tony, if the front office decided to trade Jalen Brunson for a superstar player, would you still feel the same way you do? The same similar situation as like the Mikal Bridges situation, hypothetically.
hypothetically, I'm gonna keep the same energy, but I can't even fathom that. I could fathom them going after Bridges. I could see them saying, you know what I mean? Let's rock. You know what I mean? I don't think,
because you said no matter what. You said no matter what they do, you know, they've been right all this whole time. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, would you feel the same way?
Number one, if you name the star, but yeah, I'm gonna.
So it matters who the player is.
I'm gonna rock the team. I'm gonna rock with the team, but you can't ask me that question and then the next thing you say is, "Oh," and then you put a name to it, and then I sound like an idiot,
right? Because this move has a name. No. Because this move has a name to it, right? He's talking about Mikal Bridges. That move has a name to it.
Exactly. So I'm not saying any move they make.
You said no matter what. You said no matter what. But no matter what the Knicks do, because they've been right the whole time. No matter what, you're gonna trust their front office.
It wasn't no matter what.
No matter if they
Mikal Bridges.
No matter if they trade for Mikal or not. I think
okay.
No matter if they trade for him or no matter if they stay put with this group. I think between that, you know what I mean.
I didn't say whoever they get, you know what I mean? Like, I put a name to the person. You're saying...
So my point is there's caveats to everything, right? It's just like, you can't just say no matter what. Like, you know, and that's where I'm coming from. Like, and to me, this is not a no matter what situation. I don't think Bridges fits with this particular team right now, considering the amount of, you know, if that trade proposal was serious, you know, if that's, you know, I don't think that's the right move for this team right now. I don't think there's a great spot where to put Mikal Bridges on this team right now. I think we got OG Anunoby. I'm not putting him at the 2. That's not something I'm willing to do. I think this lineup is great the way it is right now, the starting lineup.
It's all right. You know what? Because you wouldn't have gave Josh Hart $20 million.
Nope.
You know what I mean? That's a horrible contract. And my man is impacting winning. Just like every move they seem to do impacts winning.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wanted Josh Hart. I just wanted to pay him $20 million. But I mean, I think the best argument for Josh Hart is the fact that they gave him that contract in order to use the mid-level exception to get DiVincenzo, right? So if you come at it from that perspective, you know, I think, you know, you could be onto something. But individually, Josh Hart is not worth $20 million in my opinion. And he's going to make that next year anyway.
Nothing they do is individual.
Say what?
Nothing they do is individual. It's all a part of the grand scheme of things. And that's how they've been operating. So
I agree, but I'm talking specifically about Josh Hart and the money he makes and he's about to make. That's what I was talking about. So based off of that, yes, to me, it is overpaid.
But it's working. But it works.
Right now it is.
And they still have the flexibility and the ability to make moves. So, you know, it works. It's working. Right? Greg says, shout out to Golden State for beating Philly tonight, which puts the Knicks solely in the 3rd spot in the Eastern Conference. So the Knicks are now the number 3 team in the Eastern Conference. And Bricks Nation said, Mikal fits like a glove, a complete Nova circle. I do believe he fits really well with the team. I think he would. I think he would fit really well. I think he can play the 2 or the 3.
Okay.
And to be honest, I agree the timing wouldn't be right because the longer we wait, the more leverage we'll have. You know what I'm saying? The more the contract goes on, the less years, like the more the easier it'll be to kind of leverage ourselves into that. Right now, it would cost a lot. You know what I mean? Considering his value throughout the league, and considering Knicks Nets.
Yeah.
But when I said that again, I was only prefacing that with number one. When I made the statement originally, it was me saying if they did that, that's just saying they believe in Randle and Brunson as 1-2, and now it's really about finding what they've been doing, finding these complementary pieces with them. You know what I mean? But that was the point of my statement. It wasn't necessarily advocating for going out and doing it. It was if they believe he's the missing piece, then go get him.
Yeah.
And I believe that about whoever it is. If they believe,
so it doesn't matter who is.
If they believe that's the missing piece and you got the assets to do it, go do it. You have that same sentiment. So you're just trying to argue it because
No,
you know
I don't have that same sentiment. I don't have that same sentiment. No matter what, if they decide that they want to go out and go get somebody, then I'm okay with it. No, that's not.
I'm a purposely do research and have Sim help me find the clips of you saying what we need and we have the assets to get it. Go do it. Now's the time.
I mean, if it's prior to the season, then you might be right. But I'm saying what they're doing right now in front of my face, and I have the ability to change. But I'm not going to say no matter what who they decide to go get. A minute ago, you said, well, it matters who the player is that they decide to go get. Now you're saying it's not.
You said that they trade Brunson for. What he's saying is not trading Brunson. He's saying whatever player that they decide is the fit, he's going to trust them that player is the fit because they've shown that they've been able to build a basketball team. So he's going to trust the decision. You know what I'm saying?
And what if that means giving up Brunson in a deal? What if that means giving him up? That's my question. It's a question, Tony. It's a question.
Well, again, that's changing the dynamic of what they've been doing. They're not moving Brunson. I can't fathom them doing that. And if they did, it would have to be an A1. It would have to be somebody.
Giannis.
It would have to be Giannis. That's what I'm saying.
My point is, if they decide to go all in, Tony, that's different from what they've been doing anyway. That's also different.
But at some point, they're going to decide to go all in. I think that's what it is.
No question about that.
Right. So what he's saying,
you can say the same argument for both things.
But at some point, they're going to decide to go all in. You're saying, that's contrary to what they've been doing. They haven't been going all in. But at some point, they're going to decide. And he's saying, when they make that decision, he's going to trust the decision.
No matter who it is.
Yes,
I guess no matter who it is, he's going to trust the decision.
But
you know what I'm saying? I mean, because they've been making good decisions. But that doesn't.
If they trade in Brunson for Giannis, how am I argue that? You know what I'm saying?
So my point is, there's caveats to it. You said no matter what. So that's why I was. But I got you. We're on the same page now. I got it.
Yeah. Anyway,
context matters.
Anyway, I actually think I think Mikal Bridges fits. 6'6" is a great size for a shooting guard. The guy's like 6'6", 210 pounds. You know what I'm saying? He can come off screens. He can create off the dribble a little bit. He obviously plays good defense. He can defend the 1 to 2 to 3. I think he's actually a really, really good fit. I'm not saying Dante DiVincenzo isn't. I think Dante is obviously a really, really good fit there. But Mikal with the length, adds a little bit more defense and, things. I think that's actually a really, really good fit. I'm not saying he's the guy you go all in for. Just saying I think he's a good fit. Silk.
I don't think he's a better fit than DiVincenzo at the 2. Go ahead.
You haven't seen him there, so it's hard to say, if he is or if he isn't.
Apparently you did. That's what
I said I think he's a good fit. I said I think he's a good fit. I said I think he's a good fit. I didn't say better than DiVincenzo. I said I think he's a good fit, and he has more size and length. I didn't say better. I said I think he's a good fit.
You haven't seen it either, though. That's my point. Go ahead.
I said I think he's a good fit.
I haven't seen it, and you haven't seen it
right,
either,
but I said I'm not going to – you said I don't think he's better than DiVincenzo there. I said I'm not going to compare the two because I haven't seen him play, so I don't know if he's going to be better than DiVincenzo or not. I just said I think he's a good fit. Silk, what's popping with you, bro?
What up, fellas?
I'm chilling.
Y'all making me laugh in this conversation. I feel like I'm in the barbershop. I need a trim and a shape up. Well, this barbershop talk we having right here. Because there's no way Sean Marks is trading with the Knicks. He might as well put his resume in right now if he gives up the missing piece to get a championship. Y'all trying to get that man fired. There's no way.
That man's going to get fired anyway. Listen, he's going to get fired anyway. He might as well go out on top.
Mikal Bridges, if they even do that, this year or I see it in the next year because Houston got all their first round picks. They can't be sucking. So I don't even see them doing that this year or even probably the end of next year if they do the Mikal Bridges trade. I don't see it happening. But my thing is this: you got to talk to your homie with the sweatshirt, with the clutch, Captain Clutch.
Yeah.
You got to do him a My Precious sweatshirt now, man. You got to do a My Precious hoodie. I need to keep Precious. I got to keep Precious, man. Precious is what Obi should be with defense. That's exactly who he is. He can shoot a little bit of the three, not consistent. He can do a little stuff in the paint, not consistent, but he plays defense. See, if Obi did the defense part, Obi would still be here.
Yeah, he might be. Maybe, depending on if He might be, depending on if they wanted to pay him. I don't know. But
All right. So my question is this. I'm Grimes out, man. He's just not consistent enough for me. And like today, we won in spite because Hart played good. Dante was on fire. But there may be games where they're not hitting. And we're going to need Deuce or Grimes to carry us. And sometimes they could be a little inconsistent. See, I want DeRozan for Grimes and Fournier. That's what I want. I know he's older. I know he only got about 2 or 3 years left. But he'd be a more consistent guy. If he's willing to come off the bench for us, get his starting minutes, but coming off the bench, he would be a more consistent player. Grimes is not consistent, and you can still play DeRozan with Deuce. Because Deuce could be the off-guard ring. Waiting for DeRozan to do his pick-and-roll stuff, mid-range, and they double-teaming DeRozan, he could kick it to Deuce. And Deuce, to me, is more consistent three-point shooter than Grimes. I hate to say it. He hits more threes consistently than Grimes does.
Fair enough.
I'm Grimes out.
Grimes out.
Yeah, man. He just too inconsistent with that open three. He'd be open. It'd be clunk, clunk, clunk. I'd be shocked when he hit one. He's just not consistent. And you can't have Deuce and Grimes not being consistent, especially in the playoffs. That's where I'm at. What do you think about that? I ain't gonna do it for Brogdon. I'm not gonna give a Grimes for Brogdon, but I'll give a Grimes for DeRozan.
I think I'd give up Grimes for Brogdon.
Yeah, I do.
I'm not. I mean, I'm just personally, I'm not sold on Grimes like some people. Again, I think he's straight up a 3-and-D guy. He doesn't have too much more to his repertoire. I've seen him, drive a couple of times or whatever. I'd give up Grimes for Brogdon if it's gonna fit with this basketball team, and make this team better. I'd give him up.
I don't think Portland wants a guard. They got plenty of guards. Simmons and all of them. I don't think they want Grimes.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's a 3-team move or something like that, and Grimes can go to some place that needs a guard. Who knows? But I wouldn't hesitate to include him.
The reason why they would want to get rid of Brogdon is to shed salary. So you also have to take that into consideration as well.
Okay. How about the European kid? We give up his rights for Brogdon. He ain't never gonna play here.
Who you talking about?
The European kid that's overseas. That we got his rights to the point guard.
Rokas?
I forgot his name.
Jokibitis?
Yeah, Rokas. Yeah. We might as well give up his rights to Portland because they don't really have a point.
Yeah, I don't know.
And he'll play over there. He ain't coming to America unless he can play. So he'll get playing time with Portland. So that's what I would do. Because I don't think they want Grimes. You don't never hear Grimes going to Portland. You hear Grimes going to Atlanta, Houston. You don't hear Portland's interest in Grimes because they got guards. Their whole lineup is full of guards. Because I don't think they need another guard. So, but see, I want DeRozan. That's my second clutch guy on the team. When you can't mess with Dante, you can't mess with Brunson or Randle, and here comes DeRozan killing you with the mid-range and clutch shots at the end of the game. That's who I. Yeah. To me, that would be the missing piece with us. With a Deuce, DeRozan, Hart, OG coming off at the power forward, and Mitch Robinson at the backup center in the playoffs. You ain't messing with that. You ain't messing with us.
The thing about DeRozan is his contract ends this year.
He's a rental.
You know what I'm saying? So now, like the Knicks are looking to bring in someone who has a year or two left on their contract so that they can flip him if necessary. If you trade for DeMar DeRozan and he doesn't re-up with you.
But so isn't he CAA?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I thought he was, and I personally think if they going to make that trade, they're going to do back channel with his agent to find out what would be a cost to extend him. And as soon as they trade him, he's going to get an extension on our team because they're going to know the number. Because they do it this year, the clock is pushed up early that they could trade him next year if they have to.
Yeah.
So if they trade for DeRozan, I think they're going to give him an extension this year because they're going to know what the number is he would accept.
Yeah, his agent is Aaron Goodwin of the Goodwin Management Group.
Goodwin Brothers.
Oh, he's Goodwin. Okay, so he's not CAA.
Yeah.
Because if they would agree to that, if the stipulation of the trade would be secured, I would like to speak to the player's agent before I complete the deal. The team that allows us to do that, I would just like to try to find out what the number is. If it's the number something that the Knicks are willing to do for 2 or 3 years for DeRozan, I think they would just extend him this year to have that clock already started on when they can trade him for next year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what they would do. You know, they would find out, you know, what that number. You know, I'm pretty sure there would be some discussions. What's that? You know, what's that number? Can we do this, that, and the third? Pretty sure they would do their homework in that way.
Yeah, that's my keep a hope alive dream right there. That's my keep hope alive.
Yeah. Okay.
But all right, fellas, it was a good one tonight. I got to get me a Precious hoodie. As soon as he get that Precious hoodie up, I'm buying it. Just let him know, get that Precious hoodie.
All right. Yeah.
All right, y'all. Have a good one.
Peace. Appreciate it.
I like DeRozan for this year if the Knicks were gonna make that move, but I think financially, and I don't think if I had to think about what the Knicks front office their priority list is, I think them competing this year as far as the championship going all in. I don't think that'll be at the top. At the top would be being able to extend Evan Fournier's money, and it makes no sense for them to go out and trade for a player like DeMar DeRozan, extend him now, and put themselves in the first apron next season. You know what I mean? Without a guaranteed trade being on the table to move his contract. So I don't see that happening.
How does that?
But I like the basketball fit. Say what? Say again?
How does that make any sense? If they feel like they contend, they're gonna make a move. Like even if it's contend for 1 year and figure it out moving forward. I
said priority list. Like the top of their priority list. Their number one priority is to be able to flip Evan Fournier's money to be able to extend that. That's their number one priority, I think. I don't think anything has changed as far as what the Knicks are doing. They want to remain flexible. That's their number one goal. Now, if they
can't be more important than winning the championship this year, if they could do that.
It is more important than winning the championship this year if they can do that. Flexibility is what they care about. The timing of it is what I'm talking about, Tony. The timing of it. I don't think the Knicks are trying to win a championship this season, right? Particularly with a player like DeMar DeRozan. That's not what they're looking to do. Now, if you're talking about adding a superstar player, I think that's a little bit different, right? But the whole goal for the Knicks, for Leon Rose in the front office, has always been flexibility, and that's what they're going to continue to do and still win games. They're winning now, like you said, right? So.
I don't know, man. We'll see what the Knicks are going to do. We're down to 9 days or something like that until the trade deadline. We'll see what happens. The Knicks this regime hasn't really made moves on the trade deadline, right? Their moves have always come in January. They haven't made that many moves right on the trade deadline. I think maybe a couple. I think there was somebody. I forgot. There was someone who made a move. That they made a move right at the trade deadline. But we'll see.
So for everybody in the chat that's coming at me, I'm not saying that the flexibility is more important than winning the championship for us. Obviously, I want to win a championship. But sometimes if you sacrifice that flexibility and go all in now, you lose the opportunity to potentially win a championship next season or the season after that because you move too soon. Timing matters is what I'm talking about, the timing of it. And that's why I think their number one priority, no matter what, their number one priority as far as how they proceed forward is to maintain flexibility so that they can make that move later on. Not now. Not to go all in right now. The timing of it is what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen.
But when they make that move, they're going to give up flexibility.
Exactly, but I don't think that's right now. I don't think that's happening right now.
I think what they're saying is if they think it's right now, they will.
Do y'all think DeMar DeRozan is that? Do you think legitimately? Do you think DeMar DeRozan is the move the Knicks make to say, "Oh, we're going to win the championship this year"? Is that the move?
I mean, nothing is going to be set in stone. There's only a couple guys that you can make the move where you might be able to set it in stone, but there's really no one in the league that you can make a move for and you can say, we're definitely winning the championship. Or the only thing it does is put you in the running. Nobody in the league can definitely give. I mean, the Nets got KD and Kyrie and James Harden, right? So there's nothing that you can do that's going to say, yeah, this definitely wins us a championship. The only thing you can do is say, I feel like this puts us in the running. I'm going to make the move.
Do y'all feel like the Knicks front office is thinking that way about DeRozan or any of these other guards like Brogdon and all of that stuff? Do y'all think that they're feeling that way about any of these players that we're talking about? Or are they thinking more about a superstar, Giannis type, those types of players? Because I think that's they're saving the flexibility for that, not for these guys who are going to be off the bench and play 25 minutes a game.
I also think they're trying to win right now.
Right. But
I also think that is always the number one priority. And well, the flexibility means nothing if the opportunity is not there. If the superstar player is not available, you know what I mean. So
right.
So both things have to happen. So it's like,
and DeRozan is not a superstar. Neither is Mikal Bridges. None of those guys are superstars.
I'm prefacing your point. Right. I'm prefacing your point. I'm not making my own point. I'm prefacing your point. So when they make that, like Sim just said, when they make that superstar trade, it's there's no flexibility. Basically, it's the same Mikal Bridges argument. If they do a move, if they do something, it's them saying they believe in the team they have, and all they need is they don't need the superstar. They feel like they have the superstar. It's the same argument, which could be a possibility. Like you can't throw that. You can't throw that out the window. And again, the superstars are getting knocked off the list as we speak. It was Giannis before Dame. Not saying he won't become available again, but he signed an extension. Embiid, I mean, he just went down again. That could change their tune on him moving forward. How much is it worth to go out for Embiid? So who's the superstar?
I'm with you, but I'm with you. I'm just talking about the way they're thinking and what we've seen so far. That's what I'm talking about.
What I've seen so far is they continue to make little moves to make themselves better and get closer and closer.
And you don't think flexibility has anything to do with that?
It seems like to me it seems more like they're leaning towards the belief that Brunson and Randle are enough, and we only got to add the pieces to fit them, as opposed to we definitively need this superstar guy that we don't know who that is.
Fair enough.
Look at your phone call. AD. What's poppin'? What's good with you, brother? How you feeling?
What's going on, Sam?
Chilling, man. I'm feeling good. How you feeling?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm always doing all right after a Knicks win.
Yeah. Salute
to the chat, Tony Crow. Uncle Fulio at his best, as always, I see. I'm not here to even take you on, Fulio, to be honest with you. Because you said something interesting pertaining to flexibility and so forth. So I don't want to put words in your mouth and stuff that you meant it over a chip. But here's the thing with that. At some point in time, they have to make another move or two if they're really trying to play for a championship this year. This was the problem last year. At some point in time, you're gonna have to do it. Whether if you're pipe dreaming for a superstar or, there's pieces around the league that you can gobble this up over this next 9-10 days here to solidify your positioning. Because if I asked you this question right now, healthy, do you believe this team is a championship team? What would you say?
Watch them say, we don't know yet. We don't know yet.
Healthy, I'm gonna say we look a hell of a lot closer. You know what I mean? With the addition of OG, I can't even fathom the change that he has brought to this team. Like seriously, the point. I'm not big on the stats like point differentials and defensive rating and all that, but you could literally see it without looking that stuff up. You could literally see it from watching the games since OG has arrived.
That wasn't the question, though, Tony.
Healthy, I think we're a lot closer.
For real.
I think we can compete with anybody.
I mean, I don't think we're a championship team yet, but we're closer. We're a lot closer, a whole lot closer. But I don't think we can legitimately just say, yeah, you know, we're up there with the top 4 teams. To, you know what I mean? But, you know, fully intact, fully healthy. A small move somewhere might put us there. Seriously.
And that's my point, Sim.
Mm-hmm.
It's like all of you hemmed and hawed, had to think about it for a second, you know, fully
Not
healthy,
me.
whatever. If you have to think about it, then then you need to do something.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Why is it? And I've been beating this drum for the last month now, and I don't think I'm gonna get over it until I see us, you know, do better in the acquisition. Why is it that Miami was able to trade for Terry Rozier and the Knicks weren't?
Maybe the Knicks didn't like him the way that Miami did.
That's exactly why.
He's not a tips player.
Right? Maybe they didn't like him. Maybe you like him, but they was like, I don't want him. We want somebody else.
Maybe they didn't like the asking price.
Okay. At some point in time, you're going to have to spend some money. At some point in time, you're going to have to spend some of your capital. You know, wait. If you're not sure as to if you're not sure if most of us, not you, Fulio, can look at the team and be like, I still think we need something. If you have to say that about your team, then you need something.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but so if I say, yeah, we need ball handling off the bench, and that's the missing piece of the puzzle, that's still saying we need something. So we don't have to agree on what we need to say we need something. Every team could use a upgrade somewhere, from even Boston. You know what I mean? Even like any team you want to name in the league could use an upgrade somewhere. So nobody's a finished product, and nobody's guaranteed to win the chip regardless.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Most teams in the league are not vying for a championship this year, and are not championship ready. That's one.
Right.
Two, I don't care about most teams in the league. I'm a fan of the Knicks. You understand? We saw this, and I love the OG trade. I've been caught, you know, we're not even going to go over how long we've been, you know, debating that wing, that necessary needed wing or whatever. But you still need something else. So we don't have to go over what the player is. I just threw out a player's name because that would have been a fit in my opinion, because you needed, you know, something for Brunson when Brunson is out of the game that can get the team in offense. Nobody else on this team when Brunson is not in the game can consistently get the team in offense, which was a problem last year in Game 6 in Miami. That's all I'm saying.
The whole series in Miami, actually.
Well, I'm pinpointing it to that very last game when we were up 14 and he takes Brunson out for like a minute and a half and we lost it. Remember that?
I don't think I know what you're saying. I'm a little confused. I'm not sure what you're saying.
What I'm saying is they need to, if you need to make a move, then make it.
Right.
And make a move for something that you necessarily need.
Right.
Now, did we not need a creator last year in Game 6 when Brunson was out?
When Quickley was hurt?
Okay. Yeah, either way, we still need the creator. He's not saying that it was something wrong with having Quickley. He's saying that we still need that guy. We didn't have him, and that was one of the big reasons why we didn't win that series, which I've always been in the same way.
But what I don't understand is Tony is saying if the front office believes this is the guy to make the move for, make the move, Josh, you're saying withhold flexibility. So I don't understand. And so he's coming in and saying make the move, and now you agree with him. I don't know, Josh, where we going?
I don't know. No,
because he came in and said make the move. You saying withhold flexibility. I'm trying to figure out where you going, Josh.
You can still hold flexibility and make a move. It doesn't have to be for a guy that's going to lock your roster up and you can't make any moves down the road, right? So I don't know what you're talking about, Sim, but what I'm asking Tony, and what I was trying to ask Tony is, what do you think? Don't just say because if the front office does this, I'm just going to rock with it because they've been. No, how do you feel? And I think that's what AD is coming from, and that's how I feel.
I say how I feel every day. Every show I say how I feel.
Okay.
Specifically with the Bridges thing, I broke that down and explained it. It's not me saying go get him. Do it. We need him. I'm saying if the front office believes that, and I'm naming specifically Mikal Bridges, then I'm rocking with it. Because when they went out and made the Josh Hart deal, he became a bigger impact player than I ever fathomed. When they went out and brought Derrick Rose, he was a bigger impact than I imagined he could be. And now they did the same thing with OG, and I wanted OG. Bigger impact than I've seen. I'm saying I trust this front office. That's what I'm saying.
I do as well. And I think AD does as well. Well, why was just talking to me? I trust the front office as well.
Don't speak for me. Don't speak for me.
You're right. I can't speak for you. I'll speak for myself.
Don't you dare do that. I am not on the Leon Rose and Worldwide West payroll. Don't speak for me.
So
no.
You don't trust him? You don't trust him?
I do not.
No.
I do not. I do not.
So do you believe that their moves is what got the Knicks to the point that they're at right now?
I think they should thank God that Mark Cuban messed up that whole Brunson situation when he didn't have to go there. I think they should thank God that Brunson Sr. had Brunson Jr. so all of this could materialize. Now, if we're talking about some of these maneuvers that they've made, yeah, they've made some nice maneuvers, but to leap into trust, no, trust is earned. They're on their way to earning it. I don't know if they've earned my trust yet.
Okay.
I'm not gonna do that with them.
All right.
'Cause that's when you could fall for the okie doke, because with the naked eye, Sim, I never questioned if Brunson was a superstar. That's for the outside people to. I don't care about, even if I don't care about that. What I care about is you putting the pieces around him to take advantage of his superstar while he's now entering his prime years. Like, we should not be having this conversation next year this time. Do they need another piece? It should be like, the Knicks won it in Game 6, or we lost in a Game 7, and this is the maneuver that we're going to bring in to get. We should not be having this same conversation a year from now about trust and flexibility.
Okay.
They've moved away from that. But anyway, fellas, thanks for letting me rock out with y'all.
Appreciate it all the time, man. Always. Appreciate you, bro.
Absolutely. Salute. Knicks family for life.
Peace. All right. A lot of different opinions about this front office. I trust the front office. I like the moves that they've made. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the moves that they've made, plus obviously Tom Thibodeau and the players themselves, you know what I mean, have gotten the Knicks to this point. But I think they've done a good job of bringing in pieces. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look, did they predict that Jalen Brunson was going to be what he is now? Probably not. But when they realized, oh, look what he is, okay, we got to change our thinking now, right? Did they predict that Julius Randle was going to make 2 All-NBA teams? Probably not. But when they seen that he did, oh, well, we got to change our thinking now. Now let's really look at how, you know what I'm saying? So I think they've done a good job with that.
whatever the Knicks decide to do, listen, I have no choice as a fan but to rock with it, right? I have no choice. But if I see something that I think they could have done better, or I think that it was a bad decision in that moment, I'm going to call it out. I'm not going to say, well, they got him, so I'm going to trust them. No, I'm going to call it like I see it in that very moment. If I turn out to be wrong, then I turn out to be wrong. You know what I mean? Or if I turn out to be right, I turn out to be right. Just like you guys weren't all for the OG Anunoby, and getting rid of Quickley. You guys were not as optimistic as me, as I had to talk you guys off the ledge, and it wound up working out, right? So it's the same concept, and that's where I was coming from with that.
But I didn't lose faith, even though I had my my concern. I didn't lose faith in the move. I didn't lose faith in the organization. I didn't say, oh, this was a bad move. What I did was voice my concern. You know what I mean? So two things could be true. I could say I'm gonna support or trust the front office and still not personally agree with what they did, but that's their job. And everything they've done, even when I didn't agree with it, has panned out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're gonna see if another move is on the horizon or not. I'm pretty sure they, beating down those phones and making plenty of phone calls. Tony, Josh, just real quick, any key plays or decisions or anything tonight that you thought really impacted the game?
It didn't impact the game, but it could have. Tibbs, left Brunson in very late in the game, where I think the game was out of reach. You pointed it out earlier. Even Clyde was saying, get him out the game. You know what I mean? And I think he could have got out 2 or 3 minutes before Clyde said that. You know what I mean? I was thinking that. So I mean, he's not gonna be perfect. I do feel like that game was out of reach, and he could have pulled Brunson earlier.
Yeah.
But really, that's just me being sour over. You know what I mean? Like, nothing happened. I ain't gonna stress it, but that was definitely a key decision.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that. You know what I'm saying? Especially just looking at just looking at the Knicks injury stuff right now. You know what I mean? You're gonna be like, let me be cautious. I better be safe. Rather be safe than sorry. You know what I mean? What about you, Josh?
Pretty much the same thing you guys said. I thought it was, he's been out there way too long. I think Brunson needs a little bit of a break as well, considering what we're dealing with right now, as far as him being the best and the only primary ball handler that we have on the squad. So I agree with you guys. I think Tibbs needs to let up a little bit. He's
got a lot of responsibility on his back right now. Yeah. And he's got to do a lot of stuff for this basketball team, no doubt about that. Any thoughts about? Oh, go ahead, Josh.
No, I just want to say I think there is a world, right? Because I had to think about this a lot myself. Coming up to the trade deadline, I think there is a world in which the Knicks decide to do absolutely nothing at the trade deadline and keep what they got, right? Because I think it's 39, 38 something games like that. Maybe Deuce McBride steps up as a guy who can handle the ball a little bit more and be Jalen Brunson's spell, right? OG Anunoby, like I said, I mentioned him earlier in the show. His ability, to create a little bit, maybe that can start to open up a little bit more. He is in the contract year, and we've seen him do that a little bit, recently, right? So I think there is a world in which the Knicks do nothing and they can make an Eastern Conference Finals run, or perhaps a Finals run, right? But I think ultimately, timing is everything. They still want to remain flexible, and I don't think that this is the right time for them to go out and just swing for the fences right now. Now, if they want to go out and get a piece to add to the bench, you know what I mean? Get rid of Fournier's contract and accomplish that first priority that I mentioned, and they think that move is going to help them, I'm all for it. But I think their number one priority right now is flexibility, moving Evan Fournier's contract, because I think they can still compete this year. So.
Okay. So you said you think that there is a world where the Knicks don't make a move, but
at the deadline,
possibly make a run to the finals?
Yes.
So then if you really feel that that's possible, you don't think, well, let's make a move. Because if I'm the front office and I look at my team and I'm like, all right, maybe we can make a run to the finals, but there's this guy over here that I really feel like if we bring this guy in, our chances are boom. I try to bring that guy in.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, you also have to think about the long term, right? Because Toronto hit it out the park. They went out and they got Kawhi Leonard. They got their guy. They felt like that guy is the one that can get them to the finals, and they won. And he left, right? So they didn't have anything else after that. After Kawhi Leonard left, they didn't have anything else moving forward. I'm not for like this whole thing about getting it done one particular year. I want long-term stability and being a perennial contender, like the Bostons, like the Milwaukees, like the Denvers. They've been there and very close every single season. So I'm not swinging the bat for just one particular year and losing my flexibility down the road. I think you can do both. And I think flexibility has to come first.
Let me ask you this.
But if they win the chip, if they won,
they won. They won. They hit it out the park.
So doesn't flexibility go out the window at that point?
If they win the chip, Tony, that's what has to happen.
So how can it be flexibility over championship? If they feel they could win the chip this year, wouldn't they go for the chip? And then obviously they can build off of that.
Not necessarily, Tony. It doesn't always work that way. Toronto couldn't do that. Remember?
Right, but they won the chip. I don't think they care. They won the chip.
They knew what they was getting into at the time.
What I'm saying is
they knew the risk at the time and took that risk. That's not what I'm saying to do.
It is a risk. If you sacrifice your flexibility, that is a long-term risk. You lose risk. That's a risk. What are you talking about?
So hypothetically, if it's DeRozan, right, and they sign him, they trade for him, and they win the championship,
right? If they win,
they resign him,
right?
What's the risk?
The risk, first of all, signing DeRozan is going to be very difficult to do moving forward because you put yourself as an apron team. Now, it would make much more sense if they actually win the championship. If they win the championship, they gambled and they won. But if they don't win the championship, moving forward, they're going to be their cap flexibility is not going to be there because you're going to have to extend them and OG and give John Carl more money.
And you can also
they believe that gets them a championship,
right? If they believe,
don't do the move. Because they know the risk.
If they believe it's going to get them to a championship, right? If they personally feel like that, they can go ahead and do it. All I'm saying is you better win a championship, and you better not limit our flexibility moving forward. Is what I'm saying. If they win the championship, they gambled and they win.
And
right?
also,
so I'm not telling
and also, if you
keep the Knicks making moves.
And also, if you continue to keep your flexibility and you never win a chip, you're going to say, "Damn, we had this team at this year. We could have made this move and maybe won a chip." Because now it's 6 years. Because now it's 6 years down the road, and we got all this flexibility, but won't have nothing to show for it. That could happen too. You're taking a chance either way, right?
Again, both. But again, when you have flexibility, you have the ability to go make moves. When you're locked in and you're a first or second apron team, there's not much you can do. You're stuck with that team. You agree with that, don't you?
Yeah,
you're stuck with that
I
team.
agree.
You can't get better.
I agree. Either way, you could keep kicking the can down the road. Because next year, you know, you can keep kicking the can down the road too.
And kicking the can down the road is exactly what got the Knicks to this particular point right now. You said it yourself, Tony, and you said it as well, Sam. You trust them because they've been flexible. They've been able to not have any bad contracts on the roster and move it. That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
And I think that's what I'm talking about. So if they decide that they want to keep being flexible, right, and next season they want to go for the move, I'm all for it. But right now, at this very moment, it does not make any sense to me based on what I've seen them do. You know what I mean? And if they decide that they want to go ahead and do it, you better win the championship. You better win. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying if they see someone, if they feel that something really fits, I don't understand why you wouldn't do it and say, well, we got to maintain flexibility.
Well, it depends on the contract. So like a Bruce Brown or Malcolm Brogdon, right? You accomplish both things. You got a guy who's going to keep your flexibility moving forward, and you got a guy that can help you now. That accomplishes both of those things at the same time. But a guy with an expiring contract that might risk your flexibility moving forward, and then you go on for a championship and you don't win it, then not only do you not win a championship, but you lose some of your flexibility. That's why.
Even if it is DeRozan and you have to re-sign him, the flexibility part becomes a limited thing.
How so?
After 6 months, you can trade him. So
right, but then you'll be a first apron team, and then it's going to be very difficult to move that particular player. Like we already were talking about this before. Like the Knicks have to be very strategic, like you said, what they've been doing. They have to be very strategic in how they sign players. Them getting an expiring contract right now for Evan Fournier's contract doesn't make any sense because
that apron thing is BS anyway. Because that doesn't even It is in a sense because the apron thing doesn't even affect you until the end of the year. So
No, it doesn't.
you are. How does it not?
If any team that's over the second apron right now, they cannot aggregate salary. They cannot move multiple players to get one player.
We were talking about the first apron, and now you're saying second. Okay. And what I'm saying is, if you start the year in the first apron, and you end the year out the first apron, then there
into the second apron.
No, I'm saying lowered. If you're talking
about shedding salary, is what you're talking about.
If you shed the salary, then it doesn't affect you come off season. It doesn't come into effect until the year is ended. It don't matter where you at in the middle of the year is what I'm saying, or even to begin the year in a sense.
Okay, so let's talk about DeMar DeRozan, right? And your example of an expiring contract. Let's say the Knicks go out and make that move for DeMar DeRozan. They feel like he can help us now. Boom. They don't win a championship this year, right? But they extend him, right? You telling me you can see a potential scenario where the Knicks have DeMar DeRozan's contract and they move him to shed salary?
Hold on, but wait a minute though. But wait a minute. What's the difference? DeMar DeRozan makes $28.5. Let's say they extend him for $20 million for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh, $10 million a season.
Huh?
No,
$10 million a season.
20
okay,
20 a year.
40, okay.
Right?
Got it.
20 a year. What's the difference in trading for Malcolm Brogdon or one of these other guys who, like you said, they want to extend Evan Fournier's contract? What's the difference?
Because it's when you sign him. If the Knicks extend DeMar DeRozan, like they make the trade right now, for example, and they extend him right now, they go into next season as a first apron team. They go into the next season as a first apron team, and that's what Tony was talking about.
So what if they
keep Evan Fournier?
If we keep Evan Fournier, it will be different because of the timing, right? Because you have to pick up Evan Fournier's contract before the league year ends. You can't pick it up once the league year ends. The timing of it is what I'm talking about.
Right.
And that's why they're very strategic in what they do.
But you still go.
But we agree that they're going to pick it up. If he's not traded, they're going to pick it up. We agree
exactly.
with that, right?
But that's different. They wouldn't come into the new league year over the first apron. It's different. It's much different instead of them doing it now and they have that money guaranteed on their books now going into next season. The league year ends on June 30th and it starts July 1st.
But if they pick it up, then for the next season, they're going to still have that money for next season that they got to pay.
No, because the money doesn't become guaranteed until the league year starts. If they sign DeMar DeRozan right now, or if they trade for him and sign him right now, that money's already guaranteed for next season. It's on the books right now. The timing of it, Sim, is what I'm talking about. The timing.
I understand the timing of it, but what I'm saying is once they pick up Evan Fournier's contract, next year you're paying the same money.
And they would have to pick it up before the season starts.
Right. June 28th, again, right?
You guys, the dates is what I'm talking about. I think we're confused about the dates.
Do you know the dates? Because I don't know if that's...
I just told you, the league year ends on June 30th, and the new league year starts on July 1st, right?
Okay, when is the option going to get picked up by?
Listen, right now, if the Knicks decide that they want to... Because right now, Evan Fournier's money is not guaranteed for next season. Right now, before the trade deadline, it's not, right? If they go out before the trade deadline and make a move for DeMar DeRozan, and then they extend him right now, before the end of the deadline, they extend him right away. That money becomes guaranteed next. It's a part of their books for next season already. Right now, Evan Fournier's money is non-guaranteed. Right. Exactly.
We got that part. When do the Knicks have to make the decision on Evan Fournier's?
Before the league year ends.
June 28th.
Before the league.
Which would mean if they pick up that option, we would be a first apron team as well.
The time before they're doing at that point is different. That's what I'm talking about. If they do it right now before the trade deadline ends, extend or pick up Evan Fournier's option or whatever, it's different than when they do it at that point, that particular point.
If they pick it up on the very last day,
it's different than if they do it now. It's different than if they do it now. They guarantee the money now, is what I'm trying to tell you.
I understand what the difference is. I'm asking you specifically, if they pick up Evan Fournier's option on the last day that they can do it, it would be
they wouldn't be considered a first apron team at that point because that's what I'm trying to tell you. They wouldn't be. It's different. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They wouldn't be considered a first apron team based on the new cap rules.
If the years is if the the end of the season is not. They got to make that decision before the end
June
of the season.
28th. They got to make that decision June 28th.
Moving forward.
They got to make that decision June 28th.
There's a date.
Which means June 28th. June 28th is the date that they have to make a decision because it's after the draft, right? So the Knicks can, like if the Knicks were to get a big trade done during the draft, they would have to pick up Evan Fournier's contract so that they could trade him for, because he's got to be on the books for next year, right? They would have to pick up Evan Fournier's
contract. There's a date, not just that date. There's a date that you have to have guaranteed money on your books, or whether you have that money or not, and which will be considered a first apron team for the next year or a second apron team, whatever it is. That's what I'm trying to say. It's different than that particular date. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a date. I just don't remember the date right now, but there's a date before that date. That's what I'm trying to say. The timing matters. Everything matters when it comes to the timing and when the Knicks strategically decide to do stuff, Tony. That's how they got to this point.
Let me get your call. Caller, you're live. Name me where you're from, please.
Corey Lindsay from Rochester, New York.
What's going on with you, brother? How you feeling?
Upstate.
Feeling pretty good, man. How y'all rest of y'all fellas going?
Feeling good. Feeling good.
Pretty good.
First, I want to say that I know a lot of people about the trade when R.J. Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley were gone. They thinking the Knicks were going to dwindle, like not be as hot like they was with those guys. But the big difference, I see that trade was good because OG is a great defender. He do things that R.J. Barrett couldn't do. When he's wide open for a three, he usually knocks it down from his favorite spot, makes about maybe 40 or 50% of the time. And with Precious Achiuwa, he could do stuff that Emmanuel Quickley doesn't do well. Not saying that Emmanuel Quickley cannot score, but Precious Achiuwa is a hell of a rebounder. I like he could block shots when he can, and he's not afraid of contact. Like the game against Utah, he really stepped up the floor when he needed to. And the defense, especially Dante DiVincenzo, the guy was playing like a wild monster. Went off against Utah, made his 3 points, got steals. Really helped took some pressure off of Brunson a little bit. But Brunson still stepped up tonight, played a great game. He didn't probably shoot that well, but he held his ground and still kept the team in the right path to keep the Knicks in a good spot. And since, we got help, now Knicks move up to third. Was that to be expected for them to do this year, to be in the top 5 in the top seed?
I think there were differing opinions. I thought they could be a top 5 team. I thought that they would be anywhere between 3 and 6. I thought that there was a chance. I thought there was a chance they could be anywhere between 3 and 6.
Well, you know what? I couldn't agree with you more, because the way we started off the season, it was kind of tough. But I had the feeling that when the season got better, because they had our start the season with a lot of back-to-backs on the road, and they were more on the road than it was at home. But it's a good thing the schedule that they had during that tough time of the season, the beginning, they had got those out the way, and I look at them now. They're finally winning back-to-back games they haven't done in years. And, winning back-to-back games is not easy to do in the NBA. Especially whether you're coming from traveling or you could be in at home.
Nah, I feel you. And the Knicks have been able to, battle through all of that so far this season and come out successful, no doubt.
And I look at their record, 31-17. You gotta be like, you gotta be kidding me. Especially winning without our key guys, OG, Julius, and Mitchell Robinson. Did we expect that to happen this year? I didn't. And I'm just keeping it real. I didn't. But, get Tom Thibodeau his due, man. Everybody was thinking he should be fired, but I said, nope. You fire a coach that's preaching defense, you're making a dumb move, because defense wins games. You got to know that. Defense wins games.
Right. Well, they're doing it, man. They're playing defense right now. Since January 1st, they've had the best defense in the league.
Yes. And the remarkable record went in 14-2 since the new year.
Yeah. 14-2 in January. That's beautiful.
That's incredible. And
14-2.
now, since they got some good teams coming up, like between the Pacers and Lakers, that's also winnable for them because Lakers are not playing that well. Pacers just got beat by the Celtics tonight at Boston.
Mm-hmm.
But they may be tough at Indiana, but on the road, I think they're a whole different story. But I know New York is going to come look for revenge against them because, you know, New York had lost to them ever since that trade went down. But if OG comes back in that game, I believe OG could shut one of them key players down to give them a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
What if it's Tyrone Huberson or who else their best player they is on Indiana?
Yeah, no doubt, man. Hey, I appreciate your time, bro. Be warm up there, Rochester. Stay warm.
You do the same, man. You know, keep doing what you do on the air. Rest of y'all fellas do what y'all do. You know, keep representing New York like y'all always do.
No doubt. We appreciate you, bro. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, bro.
Peace.
Yeah, so listen, the Knicks, the first apron is $7 million over the luxury tax line. The second apron is 17, right? That's 10 million more over the first apron, right? The Knicks, if they were to trade for DeMar DeRozan right now and extend him, let's say right now, like, and so 6 months from now he'll be eligible to be traded. That goes into the new league year, right? Not only that, they have to be able to extend OG Anunoby, right, and pay him whatever amount they got to pay him. Josh Hart's money goes up from 12 to 19 million. Right, so the Knicks, if they were to, it's very tricky by bringing in a player like DeMar DeRozan to extend him or to try to trade him. Very, very tricky. They'll be much more limited in making that move, down the road if they were to get an expiring contract right now. That's the point that I'm trying to get across. The timing doesn't matter.
Even with that though, but the point of the matter is, if they feel like DeRozan brings them a chip, then I think the flexibility part goes out the window. I think the apron part goes out the window because when we get whoever said guy is, we're gonna be over the apron anyway. So
right.
So the flexibility is my beef with you is flexibility over championship. Yeah. To me, that makes no sense at all.
But I guess
immediate championship over long-term success, I don't think that's crazy at all. If they want to be better long-term and maintain flexibility to get a better guy than DeRozan, I don't think that's, I don't understand what the confusion is. Flexibility. Yep. Go ahead.
Are you debating the trade that is made right now, or are you talking about the future? Because I'm saying if they feel like it's gonna win it, get them in contention now, I think they do it. Because now doesn't just mean now this year.
Yes, it does. When you have an expiring contract, that's exactly what that means. A rental player. That's exactly what that means.
Not if you're re-signing him. Not if you're extending him. Again, so you think they're gonna extend him, but think they don't have a window to keep winning? Or to continue to
winning a championship, Tony. That's what we're talking about. If they're going to gamble on themselves and go after a championship, you know what I mean? If they feel like that's what they need to do, they can go for it and do it. But you better win one, because if you don't, you're pretty much stuck with that same team moving forward for the next couple of years.
But the belief,
so you lose flexibility.
I guess my thing is,
you got to win.
And maybe, I guess I need to study some more. I just don't understand how, if on June 28th, you have to decide whether or not to extend Evan Fournier, and you decide to extend him so that you can have him, how trading him or trading DeMar DeRozan, besides DeMar DeRozan, you got to wait for 6 months, is any trickier.
Because at that point, you still would have to sign OG Anunoby. You have to sign OG Anunoby as well.
You got to do that regardless.
You got to do that regardless, right?
It's hard to explain this.
I mean, what I'm saying is, even if you extended him for 1 year, you gave him 1 year and an option, a team option, you still have. What's the difference between picking up Evan Fournier's option for another year and giving DeMar DeRozan, okay, we have you on a 1 and a 1. What's the difference? What's the difference in still having to extend OG?
Well, you can't trade DeMar DeRozan for 6 months. So that goes into the new league year. You can't trade. If you trade for someone like DeRozan and you extend him, you can't move him for another 6 months. So you're stuck with him.
Right. You're stuck with him for 6 months. You can move him. You can move him after those 6 months.
Right, and then you'll be a second apron team at that point because you'll sign what's his name, OG Anunoby. In the next league year, you're going to be a second apron team, which means you can't aggregate salary to move it.
It all
so
depends on what OG does.
That team.
Huh?
You said what?
Some things are going to depend on what OG does. Does he pick up his player option or not?
If he picks up his player option, then we'll have a little bit more flexibility. That is also a possibility. But you have to be sure. You have to be sure he's willing to do that too. When you have to take all that into consideration.
Which I've been on record saying the same thing with Josh Hart. I think it's going to be the same exact thing again. Because that's the way the front office has been maneuvering. And you was dead against me. There's no way Josh Hart is opted in. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. To me, I feel like it's the same exact scenario. And to me, that was predetermined. Just like I felt like the Josh Hart thing was predetermined.
Well, either way, like I said, their number one priority is flexibility. If he's willing to do that, that means they're still remaining flexible. That's what I'm talking about. They're still remaining flexible to do that.
But my question about the Fournier thing is, if we're kicking the can down the road with Fournier, aren't we still going to be in that same apron?
Right.
Are we still going to be in the same apron if we kick the can down the road with Fournier?
Yeah.
It depends on OG's contract. If he elects to take the player option, that it all depends on that as well.
But all things being equal, we would be in that same apron. Basically the only difference with the DeRozan thing would be we're not able to trade him for 6 months. But the apron thing would be identical or pretty much the same.
Right.
Correct. But OG also has to opt into his contract because now players who are veterans that get extensions can opt in or sign contracts for 140% of what their previous salary was. So that even went up. So OG Anunoby can legitimately claim $40 million this offseason. And he's making how much now? 20? You know what I mean? So the Knicks will be a second apron team. So they'll lose that flexibility. So they need OG. It would help them. You know what I mean? Particularly if they go out and get someone with an expiring contract for him to opt in. All that stuff has to play out and matter. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. All that stuff matters.
Yeah. Because
when you're second apron team, you're basically you're like Phoenix. They can't do anything. They can't move any of that money they got.
Right. But so let me ask you this: wouldn't it make sense to have? Okay, I made a move for a guy like DeRozan or whoever it is, and even if I have to extend them, okay, now I got him there, I got OG there. Now I can negotiate with OG, I can negotiate with DeMar, and we can let's see if we can all make this work together.
Right.
Do a LeBron D Wade what's the name situation where all right, we all agree to take this amount, or maybe it's not equal amount, but you know what I mean. We all agree to take this much less, and now we got enough for this guy. So
you know what that is? You know what that is, Tony? Flexibility. Flexibility.
It's still going out and getting a guy that maybe you think is.
That's what I said about Bruce Brown, Malcolm Brogdon. You accomplish two things in one. You got a guy that's flexible that you can move his contract, and you got a guy that can help you now. Same thing.
But we weren't debating whether we shouldn't do those moves or whether we could do both at the same time. We understand why you go after a Bruce Brown and why Clarkston, you know what I mean, is a less likely option. Like we were speaking specifically about DeRozan or specifically about
I said no to DeRozan because of the expiring contract thing. I'm talking about flexibility. The Knicks are going to balance flexibility with trying to win a championship. That's what they've been doing this entire time. And I don't see them deviating from that at this very moment because the timing just won't add up. So whoever they decide to bring in, they can bring in an expiring contract. They would have to know that OG is going to pick up his player option and that they're going to be able to do it that way.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I ain't gonna front. I'm with Anthony, man. I think DeMar would. I really do think DeMar would help this team.
Fit.
You know what I'm saying?
I would love DeMar DeRozan as a basketball fit on this team.
If they could make that work somehow, I think that's I think that's a good move right there if they could make that work. And they still do maintain, because I don't think they have to give up mad draft picks for him either. I think they still do maintain some assets to be able to make something happen.
I like DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah.
And it'd be a little let's say we get him and win the chip, it'll be a little serendipity for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it
kind
would.
of getting, you know what I mean, getting moved from Toronto, they winning, and then have it being put in this type of situation.
Right. You guys have a player of the game?
Oh man, see, I know y'all gonna go with DiVincenzo because it's well deserved.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go with Josh Hart just because he called the triple double.
Okay.
And then edged it. You know what I mean? Edged it and got it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm only going with him because I want to give a different take.
What about you, Josh?
DiVincenzo,
Yeah.
shooting lights out. The guy is a flat out shot maker. He shoots the ball much more consistently. He's playoff. Been in the playoffs. I think in the big moments, I think we're going to need him come playoff time to knock down those 3-point shots for us that we weren't getting last year.
Yeah,
So
career game too.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. Dante,
2 categories.
Dante's been just killing it over the last 2 games with Julius Randle out. He's definitely my PayPal player of the game. He's been killing it, ladies and gentlemen. 30.5 points per game is what he's averaging over the last 2 games. 4.6 rebounds. He's shooting 4.6 assists, not rebounds. He's shooting 48% or whatever from the field. He's shooting 46% from the 3-point line. He's just having he might be having the best season of his career right now, right, Tony?
Yeah. Yep. And it's funny because last game, I ain't gonna front. I was a little it wasn't nothing to be mad about, but I definitely called him out because he started the game hot from 3, but where I felt like towards the end of the game he was chucking, and he ended up 5 for 15 from 3. Tonight, I think he took more than 15, right? Or close to it, but the percentage was way better. I think he was 7 for 13 or something like that.
I think he was 9 for
9. Yeah,
13 or something like that.
So, yeah, big shout out to him, man, knocking them joints down. It didn't look like he could miss.
Listen, Dante DiVincenzo, 30.5 points per game, shooting 48% from the 47.7% from the field, 46.7% from 3, 4.5 assists per game, and 5.5 rebounds per game over the last 2 games since Julius Randle's been out. You know what I mean?
And he got a little ball handle.
He's doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? Josh didn't want him in the starting lineup over Grimes.
At the time, I said timing. See, this is what you guys miss in my work. Sam does it all the time. I wasn't happy with the timing of it. Because him and Grimes is the same catch and shoot kind of player. You could say there's a little bit of ball handling, whatever that is, but they're still catch and shoot. It's just that DiVincenzo knocks him down. So I didn't like the timing of it, not the actual move. So
the timing seemed to work out.
It did, but Mitch also went down too, right? And we struggled on defense initially. Remember? And you didn't like that. Defense.
Mitchell Robinson went down. I don't think Quentin Grimes was going to change that, being in the starting lineup, that his defense was going to make it any difference.
And the argument was DiVincenzo is as good a defender. They're just different type of defenders.
Yeah. Where
Grimes was on ball and DiVincenzo plays passing lanes and things of that nature. But he's not bad on ball. He's just
he ain't Grimes.
He's not as good as Grimes on ball.
He's not as good as Grimes.
Right.
The other things he does more than makes up
defensively, that's not just on ball. So I think you can make an argument he's just as good a defender.
It's about what I just look at it for what this team needs. They need shooting, and they got shooting in Dante DiVincenzo. So that's how it worked out. But the defensive thing, they still are gonna need somebody, and they got OG now to guard the opposing team's best player. So you also have to take that into consideration. That's why this team is much better defensively. It wasn't because they put Dante DiVincenzo in the starting lineup. You know what I mean? They also lost Mitch. We get that, but on the wings, they were getting destroyed. They were getting destroyed on the wing.
When Grimes was in there, they was getting destroyed too.
No, not necessarily. Defensive numbers not defensively, the numbers don't show
Man,
that. So
Grimes was getting ate up by a bunch of guys. I don't care what nobody said. They was going back door on him. Dudes was bonging him. His on-ball defense didn't look that great to me. At times it did. There were times where I thought he was getting chewed up. But I gave him his respect because for a moment there he was playing the best, defending the best guy, not complaining about nothing and just, playing his game. You know what I mean? Gave him his respect.
They got somebody that fills that role now. They got OG Anunoby. And since we've gotten him, our defense has been just great because of our versatility, what we can do with OG. Have him guarding opposing fours, threes, too. We can do so much with that. So I think,
and the fact that the rest of these guys aren't obligated to guard up now. You know what I mean? So now it's really clamp time. You know what I mean? Like, I get to utilize my skill, but not necessarily against the best guy on the team. I'm locking him up. You know what I mean?
Right.
I just been guarding Tatum for and Brown and all these guys. Now I could, Now I could guard the third best option and clamp him. Same thing with Hart. He was guarding up the whole time before OG. It kind of put everybody back in their defensive positions.
And him guarding up, right, wasn't ideal, even though he could do it, but it wasn't ideal. And that was my big thing. It's not ideal, but now that you got OG, you don't necessarily have to do it. So we'll see.
Okay. Let me get to a call. Nick in Jersey. Nick from Jersey. What's popping with you, bro?
Oh, so how you guys doing?
Good. We having a grand old time tonight. It's a throwback. This is a throwback show
all the time, and I always I never give you any pushback. I got to do it tonight. I feel like you just had a big steak dinner, and you're saying we should have had surf and turf or something. Like this is the best month in 30 years.
No doubt.
And they don't. I mean, I disagree with the need to do anything. I think they would have been 16-0 this month if they didn't give away that Orlando game without Brunson.
Right.
And in Dallas, where you saw like 5 of the most improbable offensive rebounds that ruined their comeback down there. They could be 16-0 right now. OG's going to come back on Thursday, probably, I think. And, they're going to be no worse than, they got to go 19-15 to get 50 wins. They're going to be much better than that, even without Randle. And Randle's going to come back and Mitch will come back, and they're going to be well above 50 wins to finish out the season. And they're going to be in the 2 and the 3 slot. And here's the path to the Eastern Conference Finals with no moves. It's going to be Cleveland in the other spot of the 2 or the 3 because they have a cake schedule and they're getting healthy too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be Milwaukee and Philly in the 4-5 match, which I know does not seem likely right now, but I think that's what's going to happen. And you're going to have the Knicks beating the 6th seed or the 7th seed in the first round and then beating Cleveland in the second round. This team, no trades, will do that. We'll get to Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Okay. All right. I'm loving the confidence, man. I'm loving the confidence. So you wouldn't touch this roster at all? Say that again?
I said, I think even if they end up facing Milwaukee in the second, look, the Knicks obviously could lose to anybody in the first. It applies to every team in the conference pretty much. All the top 5 teams in the conference could all lose in the first round, other than maybe Boston. Milwaukee has had an incredibly tough time with Cleveland. They've had an incredibly tough time with Indiana. Philadelphia has had issues with other Eastern Conference teams. Like, we can beat anybody in the first round and second round, and if we have the 2 or the 3 seed, we avoid Boston until the Eastern Conference Finals, in my opinion. And I don't think we need to make a move. I really don't. Unless Grimes is so disgruntled that it becomes, impractical to have him coming off the bench, but he seems to be doing fine in his role. And if he's not, you just put DiVincenzo in there. And it's like, that's what we want. And I feel like you bring in DeRozan. What are you giving up for him, guys? Giving up Grimes and Fournier and picks?
Yeah. Grimes, Fournier, and maybe a pick. I don't know. Maybe a pick.
And then you start DeRozan and take DiVincenzo off the bench?
I don't think you have to.
Yeah, I don't think you have to. I would definitely ask and consider, if I'm Tom Thibodeau, DeRozan coming off the bench?
I mean, that would, yeah. I mean, now you're talking about something that I could probably support, really. But I don't know. I just think Grimes is incredible on defense and fits right in with what the defense is going to be turning into. When Mitchell Robinson gets back, OG Anunoby playing backup 4 minutes, even Precious Achiuwa, if anybody gets hurt, has shown now that he could fill in really good as a backup big, or even as a starter now, in an emergency. Tim's is playing well. Like, they're deep. And I don't think the issue of the ball handler and the bench is really proven to be a problem, because it's going to be Josh Hart, pretty much. That's Josh Hart's bench. And it's also going to be Josh Hart at 2 guard to close pretty much every playoff game, regardless of who we bring in.
Okay. Hey, I love it. I love to hear it. You know what I'm saying? I love to hear it. I hope you're right. I really do. I hope you're right. I really hope you're right, man.
I mean, do you see Thibodeau playing Malcolm Brogdon over Josh Hart, or DeRozan over Josh Hart, or Grimes over Josh Hart, in the fourth quarter of a close playoff game?
Not Brogdon. Maybe DeRozan, depending on what the game needs. But, Josh Hart right now is his guy, right?
Yeah, and if DiVincenzo's hot, then he's going to be in that spot. He shows he could do everything that we need from somebody that's not Hart in that spot, and he's going to be shooting. And the thing with him compared to Grimes is, he just actually takes the shots. He's way more aggressive.
You said you're saying with who?
I'm saying Dante DiVincenzo. The reason he's doing so well in the starting unit is not just the chemistry with Brunson, which is obvious, but also just the fact that he's more aggressive than Grimes. He takes the shots when he's got them in. But I think Grimes is perfect in his role right now, coming in, and it's like being encouraged to take more shots, put more shots up. He's had some big games. He played a good game tonight. He's getting rebounds. I don't know if you guys are noticing that. He's rebounding really good. I think he was 3rd on the team in rebounds tonight. Got 6 rebounds. Grimes is playing, and he's locking guys down on the other side. It's like, all right, I'm happy with everything he's doing. And of course, you got McBride, who has, I think, 5 games with at least 4 threes in the last 2 weeks. So it's like,
right,
and he's shooting basically 50%, 48%. I'm happy with the guys that we drafted in 2021.
Okay. Hey, you know what I mean? That's. Listen, I love the team. You know what I'm saying? We obviously have a very good team and a very deep team, because right now they're showing how much depth they really have.
Yeah, man. And even Flynn isn't trash.
Situational guys
Flynn
is
had
coming
a good
up.
reputation coming out of college. He can play.
Oh, say that again, Nick.
I'm saying even Flynn. I'm not saying he's the answer, but Flynn is like a really good 13th man or 12th man. He had a good reputation coming out of college, and he could play in a pitch. Like he's not awful player.
Right.
So like we're super deep, and I don't know, but maybe DeRozan's the right move. We'll see what he does. I trust Leon Rose implicitly, man. He's basically built a top 5 NBA team at 50% the cost. We've got like the 16th or 17th. Salary, and we're like a top 5 team, top 3 team net rating now, top 3. Playing like the best team in the league for the last month. So.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Hey, Nick, man, I appreciate your time. Love the insight, as always.
Have a good night, fellas.
Have a good night. Peaceful. Always like when Nick calls, man. Always like when Nick calls. Last question of the night. My man Anthony D said, Sim and Crow, would you pull a significant move or a minor one? See, for me, the answer...
I think a minor one could be significant.
There you go. Right. A minor one could be significant. To me, I don't think there's a cookie-cutter answer to that. It's what does the team need? And how do you feel it? Who is the guy? Yeah, a minor one could definitely be significant there. Any thoughts about tomorrow night's game? Oh, not tomorrow night's game, but the Knicks play Indiana coming up.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I think that's going to be Not necessarily like a game preview like you do, but I think my next show tomorrow I'm gonna talk about the battle of the all-star point guards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, Halliburton's been really making a name for himself. I keep prefacing, you know, it goes back into the summer with Team USA. Brunson got all the glory, all the praise early, and then Halliburton started to make that name in Team USA.
Right.
And who's to say, or who knows, had we actually meddled, where his name would have been, you know, before the season even started, because he was really making a name for himself then. You know, I think he got the better of Brunson the last game, not just because of the loss, but the Halliburton was balling. Halliburton was balling, but yeah, man, that's the matchup, man. That's the matchup. I would have loved the Obi Randle thing again, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
it's about these all stars.
Yeah, no doubt, and you know the Knicks need to get this one. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the Knicks are playing great ball. They need to get this one. Create some separation between themselves and Philly, between themselves and Indiana, all of that. The Knicks need to get this one. You know what I mean? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, yeah. Fun show tonight, without a doubt. Throwback show. Fun one tonight. But the Knicks
fell right in schedule too. I'm off tomorrow, so
okay, yeah.
We have good
and
money.
I was gonna say, you know, we probably gonna have to do the Losers Lounge tomorrow morning. It's 2 a.m.
Hey.
You know, maybe,
how early can we do it, Sim? Because you know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess we could talk off air, find out how early we could do it. You know what I mean? Because it's like 2 a.m.
Yeah, we gotta set it up and all that.
All of that, yeah. So it's gonna be another half hour just to set it up. So we'll probably see y'all tomorrow, I guess, in the Losers Lounge. The Knicks take on the Indiana Pacers on Thursday. Pacers are 27-21, sixth in the Eastern Conference. The Knicks are 31-17, third, ladies and gentlemen, in the Eastern Conference.
Sole possession.
One game over Philadelphia. No, actually, one game over Cleveland and Philadelphia. Philadelphia fell to fifth.
That's right.
Lost 4 in a row. I mean, so right now, if the playoffs were to end today, they'd be playing Indiana. Because Indiana is sixth.
We'd be playing Miami, right? We'd be playing Miami?
No, we'd be playing Indiana.
Oh, we'd be playing Indiana.
Right? Because the third seed plays the sixth seed.
Oh, yeah,
right?
That's right. That's right. This six.
Yep.
I forgot.
Yeah. If it were to end today, we'd be playing Indiana. So, you know what I mean?
And that's even motivation for this game coming up. You know what I mean? Like,
Word. Okay.
preview this potential matchup. Yeah, it's gonna be lit.
Yeah, Knicks on it. Knicks got the longest winning streak in the NBA right now, ladies and gentlemen. No doubt.
Best team in the new year.
Best team in the new year. Greg, you're right. We're gonna have to do it tomorrow, Greg. You know, I don't know. You know, take some time off. You know, take your lunch break early. Join the Losers Lounge tomorrow, Greg. Take your lunch break early. Join the Losers. I mean, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, man. I gotta get some rest. I rushed in after a game, which we won, by the way, 55-6.
Say what?
We won 55-6. But that's after we got smacked last night.
You said 0-6?
55-6. Yeah, 0-6.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 0-6.
Yeah, 0-6.
I'm like, yo, you keep cutting out before the first number.
Right. Yeah.
Congrats, bro. Congrats.
Yeah, but you know what? We lost last night 73-14. Got smacked. And then tonight we took it out on,
got your revenge.
Got a little bit of revenge. Now, we did play, there's this conference, the WCAC is one of the best conferences kind of like in the country. So we played a team from that conference. Yeah, we got smacked.
You do that every year, right?
Yeah, we do it every year. We try to play a
remember
couple
you
of
saying
teams.
that last year.
Yeah, try to play a couple of teams from them. You know what I'm saying? And, we got smacked around a little bit. But the thing is, we're playing, we were playing with 2 8th graders, 3 9th graders. Yeah, 3 9th graders, a sophomore, senior. You know what I mean? We had another 8th grader that couldn't make it because we got like eight players we going with. So, we're very, very young. They were juniors and seniors. So we got smacked around a little bit like we were supposed to. But then tonight, we took it out on them, smacked them around. 55-6. And I was mad at the end. It was like 30-something to nothing with 10 seconds left in the first half, and we let them score. I was kind of mad, but I didn't want to say nothing because I didn't want to look bad in front of the crowd. Like, we let them score. You know what I'm saying? But, they would have been like, well, crowd probably would have been mad about that or something. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, sometimes getting smacked around helps you. Because we got smacked around last night, and we showed significant, moving the ball better because we played against so much more speed last night. You know what I'm saying? We learned a little bit about playing with speed and being in our spots defensively, defensive rotations, how fast you got to get there. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to play with teams that much better than you in order to learn those lessons, Yeah. But anyway, folks, I'm out of here. No games tomorrow. I don't have a game tomorrow. Got practice tomorrow. Then we got a game again on Thursday. The next 3 weeks, like my basketball games, seem like they don't stop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't do the game preview today because I had to get out early to get to the game.
I missed it. I missed it. I was looking for it.
Yeah, But anyway, folks, we appreciate your time. Gonna get up out of here. Check your notifications for tomorrow, people. We're out. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When send past the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Postgame reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.